Hi everyone. Today is new month, 3rd of February. Now, last session we had looked at Bitcoin at different time frame, including 1 month, and concluded there is no immediate risk, there is no threat. The recovery is in progress, and we can see that happening. It had touched 38K range, which was above the risk level. Yes, warning level was breached, but risk level wasn't. So that way we can say it was safe and sound. And another thing that I mentioned, that this 38,100 is not a trend level risk. This risk is kind of an immediate risk where if someone wants to protect their asset, they may using this one. Otherwise, the lower, I mean, trend level support is even lower, and we are not talking because it's not there. We'll talk only if this risk level is broken, which is not the case. No, not only that, it is back to 43K level. If we look at the 6 hour low time frame, we see the progress where it had touched the warning level and then broken above quite clearly, and then consolidated near R4, which is a resistance. I'm sorry, which is a resistance. And we could see the retest of this resistance, which becomes support after breaking out. So retest of this support, another tiny leg up, another retest, and a bigger one, and then another retest. So when you look at this one, you can say, this is technical move. These are technical moves, and I'm fine with that. And I always mention we get shock only if it doesn't make technical move. Market tends to go up and down. The most important thing that we keep in mind is the trend, and we try to see how we can use this information for planning. That's the whole idea. So when we look at low time frame like 6 hour, we can see that how it is behaving and how it is following those technical levels. I'd also mentioned that when it was recovering, that 40K, 44K is the level which I would like it to break above, because bounce up to 44K was expected from my technical point of view, which we got. That means this minimum bounce, I would say, has been achieved. The real thing is, this is not enough, though very encouraging. When I say not enough, it's not a pessimistic view. When I say not enough means it requires little more for it to continue and recover fully. That's the meaning. So 40K, 44K was expected level, and it is also expected that there's some kind of retracement, though it was little aggressive in my point of view. And this is also because of the Fed's comment in my point. Otherwise, it would have probably settled down from up to this one. This was due to Mr. Powell, because he said March cut is clear no. I mean, that is going to be the case, but sometimes, you have to say in a way that market can digest. Means so it's like the way you eat. Like if you eat slowly, then it's comfortable. If you eat the same portion but quickly, then it's very difficult to digest. Something like that. How you narrate is very important. He could have said the same thing, but in a softer manner, or in a way that it's not, he was very like kind of blunt in a way. So probably market didn't like, and there was immediate reaction. However however the level was not broken. So this is what we see, that fundamental factors drive the direction, and technical levels provide us the opportunity for planning. So it's a combination. And when I talk about fundamentals, I talk about macroeconomic fundamentals, not the crypto fundamentals. As we know, what happened with ETF, disastrous means, when I say disastrous means, everybody was thinking about huge pump and it didn't happen. That's what I mean. That crypto fundamentals play a little role. The bigger, I mean, the major role is played by macro fundamentals, macroeconomical fundamentals, which we often talk about. So I would not repeat that this time. And yeah, so coming back to technical levels, now it's right in the middle of this support and resistance. When I talk about this support, this is very low time frame, immediate support I'm talking about. Uh, it will get into problem only if it closes below warning level again, just in case. If that happens, then it's a point of concern. So, but it is well above the warning level. So that's not a problem at all at this moment. So now next move has to be breaking above this level. Now usually weekend is low and sometime it moves sideways. That's what we have seen it with BTC because it requires clues from the market, um, overall market that I talked about. That could be DXY, I mean dollar index. That could be bond market. That could be stock market. It's not just one market, but multiple markets. And then aggregated results are reflected in price. That's how it works. I would say that's how it behaves. Okay, so this is 6 hour. Let's see one day. One day is not so different if you ask me. So this was the base. This is a bridge, but safer. Again, this is a retest. Nice daily candle. We can see that. Now it is in a process of recovering. Yeah. So this level is important for us to get this level. And if we get this level, then it's easier to get the higher level. That's how it is. Um, I don't want to draw a trend line, to be honest. I would just keep the 44K level. Otherwise, if you want to draw, you may draw like this, but it's not so accurate. Maybe from here you can get this one, like this one, resistance line. Downtrend line. But I would skip it. Okay, so this is how it looks like one day. If I may zoom out, let's see if any other information that I need to provide. I don't think so. I don't think so. This is not required. This is to explain what happened in past. This line is also not required, which was indicating why it is important. Yeah. So we have this structure, as you could see, where there is consolidation and breakout next week, let's say, on the upside and retest this R5 zone. That's the probable setup at this moment. And only if it breaks below warning level 40,000, 500, 500, let's say, then it's a point of concern, and which is not the case at this moment. Doesn't look like probabilistically. So it looks good. Let's look at higher time frame weekly on different. Yeah. So this is the projection given, and I'm happy that the second green candle is indicating in that direction, which is more than enough if you ask me. And like I said before, only if this layer is broken on a weekly point of view, then it's a point of concern, when because then it would look for this orange layer. So at this moment, it's heading up, and the dotted line, as I mentioned, that this dotted line has to be kept like this until it breaks above the level of rejection, which was this one. Then it becomes the solid line. So maybe I should keep the dotted line up to this, indicating that it will try to break above again. And that's where it will finally decide whether this is the level of rejection, ultimate level of rejection, or this is just one of the interim rejection, and the journey continues. In that case, then we'll have a solid line indicating the next lane. I hope so. This kind of understanding is logical, simple, especially for those who are tracking at weekly, those who are not tracking by very specific price. This is very useful for them. Okay, let's look at another layout. So we had a box indicating the same, actually, that this is consolidation. If I may add, actually extend it, indicating everything is consolidation actually here. And it could go on for a couple of weeks at least, and then potential breakout. So this indicates the recovery. Some people were expecting this lower, but at this moment, there's no sign of it. Some people are expecting, 30s, like 33K, 35K kind of level. I am not, because I don't see it right now. Okay, so that's BTC. Let's look at some reference data. DXY. DXY is a point of concern. As you could see, it is moving up nicely, but it has a shape like this. And this pattern is very important, by the way. Either it follows this green path, it could be like this. Here, the direction is important. The rough approximate shape of the wave is important. You cannot predict the segments. These are segments. You cannot predict the segments. You cannot predict. These are segments. You see, these are segments. Some are like longer. Some are equally long, but in between there are two upper green candle when green candles. These are like all the way down. Both are similar if you look at the behavior point of view, up and down, up and down. But sometimes you see consolidation and sometimes even longer bound. So that's why when it goes down, you might see a nice weekly candle in between. And similarly, so this segments is very, I mean, extreme possible. Exactly. It's not possible. At least based on my experience. What you could do is that's why you can outline like this, and you can outline like this, which is more than enough in my point of view. Because idea is to capture this particular shape that it is likely to form. So during this one, Bitcoin is going to be okay. But only in this region, Bitcoin will feel tremendous pressure if that happens. And when this will happen, only if the rate remains high, like March is gone. So let's say this is Feb. March, then there's no rate cut. So maybe market will expect rate cut in May, which is likely to be the next logical month. So maybe the market remains up until May. If the inflation data are still bad, and the rate cut is delayed, and worst, if the rate is increased, then this could collapse from here also. Remember, I mean, this is not the right way. But point is, it could go down from here. So that's something we have to tune it. So this is like indicative that it might fail from here, but sometime what might happen that it could come down a bit and then it might fail from here. Or it might continue like this and it might go down from month of May if the results are not good. You see, like this, something like this. So this blue line is indicating that the failure scenario for the DXY basically. So the failure could have failure. It might fail here and go down from here, or maybe it could fail from here. It could fail from here, and that is, I think, totally depend on how the economic data. But technician point of view, we can have a path and we can have a point of failures, point of supports, and where we can draw boundaries. That's what we do, and that's the whole science, if you ask me. So this science does require some tuning, fine tuning. So if I tell you now something and you take a printout and say he said this in February and that is valid in April, no, it doesn't work like that. That it requires the tuning, and that latest report has to be referred. That's why my updates are important. And this is not just about me. NETA, the fine tuning is required like this. So what we do is we try to track the overall trend and then try to figure out its minute details like this. That's how we track. So DXY is still a potential threat, not immediate threat. Potential threat. Why? Because it is still progressing. It is still progressing. This thing has to die. This ultimately, if you ask me where it should go, it should break below this 100. It must go down below this. Ideally, it must go down below this 99. As long as it's here and make progress, it's going to put some pressure. And then, as I said, not daily. For an example, on Friday, it went up. DXY went up, but Bitcoin also went up. So I mentioned that not to try to judge DXY, because I always see some comment on DXY. It is about the trend. It is not about daily movement. There's another layout where I mentioned risk about this. I would say not risk, but warning. I would consider this as warning because there's some tolerance here, and this is the last resistance. Means this is a risk level. Basically, this is risk. This is true risk. Where if it goes up, then it's a real problem, if you ask me. Yeah, so far, this is not there's no immediate threat. But yeah, this pattern is developing. It's likely to be zigzag, annoying. Let's look at yields. Yields were going down, but all of a sudden they spiked because of Mr. Powell's comment, as I mentioned, a blunt statement about the rate cut. Careless statement, I would say. I mean, he's telling the truth, but he's downplaying. In short, he's downplaying a lot. Anyway, yeah. So right now, it's trying to recover, and that's what we have to watch out. This we can extend it as long as it doesn't break about this. We are fine. At this moment, it's trying to. So we would like it to follow this one. We like it to follow this one. That's why it's a green path. So let's see. So this trend is not broken. This is very encouraging though. It went down. Friday was the little recovery, but this recovery is not enough if you ask me. But if it breaks above and closes above, then it's a point of concern for sure. Especially if it breaks above 4.33 kind of a level. Then it's a point of concern. Yeah, that was so good. Nasdaq Nasdaq is continue to make new highs, so very strong, stronger than BTC, I would say. This is good. What do we have? We have dominance chart. We look at ah. So this hasn't happened yet. Let's see. This is strong resistance. So I had to see. I mean, this is still a dotted line. There's no solid line. The dotted line indicates tentative move, not a highly probabilistic move. That's what it means. This is a tentative move. Um, this becomes solid line only if it breaks below 50.5, I would say. At this moment, I cannot say for sure with high probability. That's why it's a dotted line or dashed line. It's indicative that this dominance could go down. Anyways, let's see. We'll see. I mean, in a week or two, we'll come to know. Yeah, that's it. I think from BTC and reference data point of view. Let's continue with the altcoins weekly. This is like very crazy price action. I mean, you just I mean, this is not easy. This is not easy. Look at the swing. Let's measure the swing. 32% swing every week is no joke. 32, 30, 32, 32% swing is no joke. I mean, I can understand one quick breakdown, but this is like swing. Like this is like zig, 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 zig. 20%, 30% swing. This is crazy. So it's tough. For those who are dealing with alts, it's tough market. Really tough market for sure. Look at BSV. Now BSV is stabilized, which is perfect from a technical standpoint of view. And as I mentioned, now the 5th February is coming, like Monday, the case starts. We come to know the drama starts, I would say. And then we don't know what is going to happen. We don't know. We have to just keep an eye and see. Price chart would indicate yesterday it was up by 7-8%. Today it lost that gain, but still it's green, 2% up. Point is, it's not crashing below. Maybe it will go up in anticipation as people might think that it will, Craig will win and all, whatever, those supporters. So we'll have to see. As far as price chart is concerned, it's trending up, as you could see. It's trending up like this. standing up. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, and we'll come to know. I mean, the case is between March to May. I think that it's like 3, 4 months. So it's not that on 5th to, sorry, not March, from Monday, February the 5th, until May month, I think. So at least 3 to 4 months, yeah. April, May, 4 months. So we are not going to hear the verdict, but we'll start getting some information. Doge is doing nothing. It's dormant, though there was some attempt. So we can say it's right now useless in a way. It's dormant, doing nothing. I mean, not help, neither helping nor hurting, kind of, because it's the if the mean price is the same as we had in month of May in 2022, so almost 2 years, let's say 20 months. For 20 months, the average price is the same. That's what I mean. It's doing nothing because there's no ROI in a way. If you have invested in anywhere, more or less it's the same. So there is no return basically. Ethereum is so there is one pattern again that is appearing like a pyramid pattern. There's no pattern if you Google it, but I I don't want to say it's my pattern, but at least it's not in my reading. So um, don't beat me up for this pattern. I hope this doesn't complete. Remember, the patterns are complete only, I would say this pattern will complete only if it breaks this level. Okay, roughly speaking. I need to break it, show both, otherwise you'll misunderstand. And draw right now, I'm drawing both of them. And for now, I would keep this as dotted. So you don't beat me up like this, right? So basically this pyramid pattern is a pattern where this is a peak and then this is kind of a base second layer. So we see consolidation means zigzag for a few weeks and then breaks down all the way. That will be the disastrous if that happens. And if this is happening, that means it is happening with Bitcoin as well. But this is dotted line, as I said, it has to break below this, which is like roughly 2100 level. Let me be a little more conservative. Yeah, 2000, let's say 2000. If I just I go a little conservative, and that can, oh no, this is too much. I don't, yeah, this one, 1100, something like that. We'll come to know, we'll see. But this is right now a possibility. At least the pattern is there. But pattern will realize, I mean, will complete only if this level is broken. The 2K range, you may say, is a support. Is a support. Let's see then. So that's Ethereum. So far so good. So far so good. No doubt. FVT. Okay. It is coming down a bit. It's coming down a bit. However, we can say this is still in consolidation. So there is no immediate threat unless it breaks below this, which is 0.47, let's say. Then the point of concern in that case. Yeah. At this moment, it's surviving. I mean, consolidating. The Filecoin is bouncing. This is like Dogecoin, where there's no point real return for last 20 months. I think this is very much identical, if you ask me. The shape is different, but it's the same thing. This was the price in month of June 2022, and it has the same price after roughly 20 months. So there is no ROI unless it breaks above this level. So this entire thing is, that's why I put a box. The whole entire thing is a consolidation zone, remember? So it has to do a lot before we can say now it is trending. This is not trending by any means, but we have some coins. It's not that they are favorites, but they have potential, and once they break out, they can start trending. So we have mix of coins where the coins are trending or coins are in good shape and potentially start a new trend. So we have some mixed flavors. The FTM, FTM is holding up at this moment, but this is very, very tricky one because as you could see, it's sticking to the S1. I would like it to move away, but right now it's sticking. So we have to see how the week closes. If it goes up, then it would be amazing. Then because then it will follow the path that we have. That will be wonderful. So because this is a projection, and this is a dotted line. It's not a solid line. When the pattern completes, we mark as solid. Like you see, this was the projection path. I mean, this was dotted line, and ultimately it happened. So we can say projection versus actual. So everything is happening like that, and we have to fine tune a bit. We've been tracking this, but the big picture point of view, this is also same as Doge and File, where there's no real return unless you have some good move during this phase. Otherwise, from a big picture point of view, from a weekly trend point of view, it is not trending up yet unless it breaks above this zone. That's why we have this big box covering this. This big box, it has to break above this big box for it to trend up. This is not trending up. These are like small phases where it is trending up, but only for a very short time. But this is not a true trend from a cycle point of view. I'm talking because in a weekly call, we focus on cycle. So when I say cycle, means this is the top, this is the bottom. So this is a downtrend or cycle, right? For an example, if I so this was the bottom during the COVID, and this is the top. So we can say this is a cycle. This is the bulls or bull run or bull trend or uptrend, whatever. There are different terminologies. But and then in between you would see some correction consolidation phase. This is double top. Yeah. Different coins have different structure. Then the retest of this. So this is a downtrend. and a huge consolidation. So we cannot say this is uptrend by any means. We cannot say this as uptrend by any means. We can say these are the recovery attempts because they are for few weeks. It seems like they're trending, but they're not trending. Okay, I hope it makes it. This is called trend. When it picked up from here, we cannot say this is a trend. When it started from here, that becomes a trend. Remember, this is a very important point. So when it picks up, like if I may hide, just this is for education. So let's say it was going down and like then it's bouncing. We cannot say uptrend has started. But yeah, if once it breaks above this, then we can say there's high probability. And then once it retests this level, you see this level, when it retests this level and then retest this low, means it's kind of a double bottom at this level and then takes off. And then here we can say that this is a sign of new uptrend. I hope it makes sense to you now. But nobody can say this is uptrend. This is a recovery attempt. When you're here, you can be hopeful that it is moving in the right direction. And I'm not talking about FTM. I took the FTM as just an example to explain how things work, how the cycles are formed, and how the trends are established, and how trends are interpreted. So this is not about FTM. This is about any chart. The shapes of the chart, different charts could be different, but I'm trying to explain the fundamental of technical analysis, not the fundamental of typical fundamentals. That so this is like fundamental points of technical analysis, how we interpret. So this is we always call attempt recovery attempt. This is a retest of this breakout. This is retest of this low, and then when it picks up, this is where we can say, this is something interesting, and then we can say also this trend line kind of thing helps to understand. Roughly speaking, it helps that okay, yeah, this is good, and we call the victory here. Of course, we have to monitor that it doesn't breaks this because you never know. It can go down, go up, and then when it breaks about this one as well, then we kind of get confirmation. So this is like we can say very encouraging. This is like safe. This is encouraging, and this is sign of uptrend. And here we can say this is confirmation. I hope this is you'll find this helpful. And of course, when it progresses, so though this is a huge drawdown, another thing is you can percentage cannot determine percentages. So this is a big one, right? I mean, if you look at this is 44, sorry, my bad, 84% drop. But this is not a cycle level breakdown. The 84% is no joke. It's no joke. But you cannot say this is downtrend because you're measuring the uptrend from here. So your correction with respect to this low is not deep enough for you to call this as downtrend. Yeah, you can say this is similar to what we had here and so on. But this is something. This is double top and retesting this low, not just this one, this one. So then this is downtrend. Okay. And then coming back to the present time. So now you get it, right? This is the bottom, and this is an attempt. This is a retest of the bottom. This is an attempt. So I hope now it makes sense to you, I believe, why this is not uptrend yet. And whatever I said, you can assume the same thing for Doge, Filecoin, and anything that is similar to this one. So the beauty of technical analysis is when you look at the chart, you're not looking at the coin, you're looking at the structure. So kind of that's why I always say the coin do not matter. It's all, you do not analyze coin, you analyze a chart. And as you analyze more and more, you will find that there are not many flavors. Like in terms of structure, the variety, um, there are not many. Of course, they are not going to be exactly the same, but you will get that they are similar. Like our humans' faces are similar. Their features are different. Someone's nose is different, eyes are different shape, but we as a human, we have more or less the same structure compared to any other animal, right? So of course, when you, if you go by region or race, and then you see the features. But the point is that as a human, we have similar structure. Similarly, different coins are different in like individual, but when we talk about human structure, that's what I'm trying to say, that there are not many varieties. There are few features point of view, but it's easy to find out whether the person is human. I mean, the living being is human or not. Very easy to find out. Similarly, the charts, when you look at charts, there are so many coins, but there are not many flavors in terms of, let's say, there are not many species, so to speak. They can be categorized into few, very few, and that comes with experience. That's what I'm trying to say. In other words, Filecoin, FTM, Doge, for me is the same, one and the same. This is what I mean. But I cannot say the same for INJ because it's trending up. Not just trending up, it made new all-time high. So it is a different species. So see, my categorization is from technical point of view, not from a coin point of view. Okay, so this is still consolidation, and we can put a box like just to visualize. And I should extend this R1, R2. Right now, it is consolidating when I see this. Hmm. KAS still sticking this. So this is consolidating, but range is pretty wide, but not bad, but annoying. I would say unless it closes about this level, which is the higher support, maybe I'll rename it to support one, just for just to distinguish. So once it closes above support, not just breaks, sub closes, the weekly close above support one will confirm that it wants to go higher. Right now, it is doing nothing, and which is fine because doing nothing is better than breakdown. So there's no breakdown, but doing nothing. Link has hit R4, I can say almost. So it has, and this is what we were expecting, consolidation and then a breakout. I would say this breakout was more stronger in a way, faster. And which I always say, you cannot predict that which week it will break out that way. It's very difficult that way. But we can always anticipate that this is the potential bottom, and you put a box in a way boundary, and the week is likely to close above. So and then hits this one, means if it doesn't re-enter in the box, which is unlikely, because today is Saturday, unless something dramatic happen, it doesn't look like it'll re-enter probabilistically, right? So in that case, if it stays above, that means it will try to break above R4. I'll give you R5. Matic is doing nothing. However, this pattern remains valid. This pattern remains valid, and I see what's trying to do. I see what it's trying to do. So 1 or 2 weeks, it may take 3 weeks, I would say, to reach this level. So again, from here to here, it may take 2-3 weeks if I go by the kind of pattern that it's trying to fill up. I think so. And RNDR, which I mentioned, one of the strongest one. And some application point of view. Now, real fundamentals are playing the role, real, not the fun. I don't like the fundamentals of tokenomics and POCs, like POCs, proof of concept, some tie-ups, like you always hear XRP related types, like they must have said this, they started working with this company, that company, at least 100 companies I heard in last 5 years or so, 6 years. But those are POC, means proof of concept. Means I go to you, you are a company, I'm a coin, and say, hey, you're my friend, you're my potential partner, and then can you try this product? And you will say, okay. So that it could be alpha testing, not even beta. So something like that. Or it is not even alpha testing. It could be just trying out. Let's say it's a sample product, like you just try out kind of thing. So that kind of a thing, but coin projects, they market as if they are really launching, the company is really launching. That is BS. But when you see Render, the archive app, which is using Render, and that archive app is part of the Vision Pro, and that is fundamental, the real fundamental, because the real app is using Render network, and that app is part of the product, which is with the customer, not in proof of concept, with the customer. So that's a real fundamental I would value. And that's why Render has a special space. And I would consider that as a real progress. So 3D, they are in 3D rendering. And 3D rendering business is $3.5 billion at this moment. But with the VR and AR, I think it will grow rapidly, in my point of view. This is just a beginning. Fundamental point of view. Some people say I don't follow fundamental of crypto. I do, but my fundamentals are very different than what people follow. I first of all, my first level of fundamental means top level of fundamentals are macroeconomic fundamentals. And then my second and last fundamental are the real use cases. Real, when I say real, means which are being used by you and me or someone else. Real. Right? Ethereum is real because we are using gas for NFTs, for example. Solana is real because it's being used. These I call it real, where you have to really have to have that coin for any service or and that product. That's why they are called real use cases. So these are the two fundamental segments I follow. I don't care about supply. I don't care limited supply, scarcity. I don't care, really care. Then the third, in fact, I must say, third fundamentals, which are, I would say, why I didn't mention in the first two, and I just say for two, only two, because the and not third, the technology related fundamentals, and mainly security, scalability, and this degree of distributed network, um, which is related to resilience and kind of security and decentralization, basically. So, but I didn't mention because without that, there is no blockchain. So I didn't mention them. Means those are more like those are not just fundamental, but those are prerequisite. In a way, you cannot have a platform or a coin without those prerequisites. So those are must to have. If the network is not secure, there's no product. If the network has no scalability, like speed and throughput, then uh the network is useless, like Bitcoin, BTC. It is useless from real use point of view. So in my book, BTC is unusable at this moment. If they do something, I'll be with them. So I'm not biased or against, but to me, they don't even qualify for being real application. Ethereum qualifies, not fully, because they're not yet scalable and they're very expensive. So the fourth fundamental, it should be reasonable for like if the gas is so expensive, it is not going to fly. Why? What the whole point is, it's not just about distributed network, but it is also because it should be cheaper. If it is not cheaper, scalable, secure, it is not going to fly. So usable, but secure, scalable, and cheaper. But I would consider these are prerequisite. So I'm not so macroeconomic fundamentals are the fundamental, and then usability, real use case is number two. These are the only fundamentals I track. So when I talk about those. So that's why I brought up R&D. Oh, so I don't have to say much because it's kind of preparing to break out. I'll provide you R3. Probably we have R3. My bad. So it's heading for this zone at this moment. Okay, so looks like Rune is has found the footing here. Now, basically, it's kind of following this. It's hesitant, but not a concern. So getting better, I would say, unless it breaks below R2. If it closes above R2, then it's bad. As simple as that. This is progress. SOL is had a support from R5. Look at this technical, okay? And now got support from R6. Make sense? That's it. DIA is making progress. This is very tough coin. Very tough coin and a lower time frame, to be honest. But not bad. Very tough. Price action is tough. I mean, when I say tough means trading at lower time frame is tough. Nevertheless, um, you see we had added this trend line last time, so it bounced off this week, which I liked it. So this trend white line is from last week, so it worked out well. So yes, that's it then. In summary, DXY is progressing. Hope it dies and goes below 100, and that is totally dependent on macro fundamentals. Also, the inflation is not only controlled by the rate hike, it is also contributed by supply side, where Fed or any central bank cannot do anything. And supply side, the biggest risk is war. We know that yesterday US has started strike in Syria and Egypt. So we hope that that thing doesn't escalate further. We hope that that doesn't disrupt the supply chain. If it does, then inflation will have a direct impact. And inflation, if inflation goes up, Mr. Powell is not going to reduce rate, not even in the May. Uh, he's going to press hard, though he cannot do anything about the supply side inflation, but he will try to kill the demand by raising interest rate. So if you ask me, that's the only major risk. And second, my bad. Second risk is obviously the COPA and Craig, the case in the UK High Court. I must not forget that. So these are the two potential risk. I'm not saying risk, potential risk that we need to track. If the from a trend point of view, see daily movement point of view, there will be some news and up and down, but these are the two key potential risks that we must keep in mind at this moment. The biggest one, yeah, I think both are big one. Big, both are very important, critical. And I've been saying this, but I'm just repeating probably. But this latest development, the U.S. airstrike is the latest one. In That's why the supply side risk has gone up now. Potential. So that's a still the conflict is not widespread, but if it escalates further, then because then it will impact oil, natural gas. Depends on who all are involved and then how it expands. So in that case, we'll have to see. So far it's not at a critical level. That's why it's okay. Anyway, so that's my summary. So everything looks good. Otherwise, see you next week. Thanks.